everyone, thanks for clicking on this video today. Today we're going to discuss a personal experience of mine. It was when I got a CCJ by Mercedes Benz, and I got it overturned and removed from my credit file. Now, getting a CCJ is a devastating thing for everyone, because once you get a CCJ, it's highly unlikely you're going to get some credit. It ruins you, and it can do so for a long period of time. So it's very, very important, because one of the major things in life, guys, you need to ensure as much as possible. I know we all have difficult times at times, but you've got to try and make sure you're always up to date with your payments, because if that gets defaulted or you get CCJs, it can really affect your credit history. It can prevent you from getting finance on cars, houses, mortgages. It's a nightmare, and there's no way around it once you get it on, in the sense if they're legitimate. So it's very difficult then to get them off. So therefore, it's important that you try and avoid any step of that nature. But sometimes, guess what? You can get removed, and I got it removed. I took on the big corporation, Mercedes Benz, billionaires selling millions and millions of cars on a yearly basis around the world. But I took them on. I took them on because I felt they were wrong. And you should always, whenever you feel somebody else is wrong or a corporation is wrong, do not be afraid to fight them. Take them all the way. So a little bit of a backdrop to the story. I had a lease vehicle for, I think, 3 years it was, or 4 years eventually I had it for. It was time to return the vehicle. Return the vehicle, and as they do, when they receive the vehicle back, they check the vehicle, and if there's any damage on the vehicle, they will send you a bill, and you have to pay the bill, because of course you can't have the car just smashed, scratched, and give it back to them like garbage. So within reason, they have a wear and tear, but to be honest, the wear and tear is very minimal, which they accept, and ultimately you should be expecting to pay something, because they will pull out things. But here's where I feel a lot of people probably make a mistake, and whatever bill they send, I can probably guarantee many don't dispute the bill, and they accept it. And you've got to understand this from big corporations and companies and any business. They will try and milk you as much money as they can. They won't care. That's how they work. They work on finance figures, bottom line, top line. That's how they work. So even if they sent you, let's say, extra £200, £300, £400 on each bill, can you imagine the number of customers they must send that to, and who don't dispute it, who just pay it? Some people have got so much money, they're not bothered, they just pay it. But it doesn't matter how much money you have, you should always dispute. You should always pay what you need to pay and what you're supposed to pay, not overpay. So you can imagine from their perspective, any company, if they just do that to a handful of customers and they get successful and they don't dispute it, guess what? Ching ching, the CEO gets a bigger paycheck. So, and I'm not going to allow that to happen, from my part at least. So whenever you get a bill for a vehicle, double, triple check it. Does it fall outside the guidelines? Are they genuine? They should give you images, inspect the images, ask for the images. More often than not, they won't send you the images obviously straight away. They'll just send you the bill and take out your direct debit. But make sure you always question it, get the images across, and just check against what they've charged you on the invoice. Is it correct? Is it justified? Fantastic. If so, pay it. If not, if you dispute it, basically contact them back. So that's what I did. So I contacted them back because I disagreed with some of the charges they applied, and they actually rectified it. They rectified some of it, but I still continued to dispute some of the other charges, and they said, right, we'll get back to you. Now, Mercedes never got back to me, or so I believed. And in my last conversation with them, I stated, please ensure to contact me via email. And they said, okay, obviously took that on board. That's my preference as a communication. And we got on our way. I then never heard from Mercedes Benz ever again. Now, as you can appreciate, no one wants to pay any money. So if you didn't hear back from them, you thought, okay, maybe they just thought, you know what, we don't think the money applies. It's done and dusted. Because if you don't hear from them, the onus is upon them to essentially tell the customer, this is what you still owe. They didn't come back to me. So I ignored it, left it, carried on with my life. Now, carried on, and weirdly, and it's probably because I think it just depends on when you apply for finance, it depends on which credit report they go on to. So what they did is they actually pursued me and popped a CCJ onto one of my credit reports. Obviously, I had no idea. So I've been applying finance since that period over time. I've never been rejected. It's been fine. I've been getting credit cards. I've been getting loans. you know, for the businesses and all sorts, cars, vehicles. I even got more Mercedes. I think since then, 3 more Mercedes. So yeah, I've been getting a lot of credit and finance applications and been going through fine. However, when it came to one of the businesses and we had to apply for the loan, they obviously searched on a different credit report and it popped up on there saying I've got a CCJ. Wow, the floor fell out from beneath me, because all my life, even through difficult periods, I've always ensured my direct debits have never defaulted. I've never missed a direct debit in what? I've had a bank account since the age of 12. My first bank account was the age of, not 12, I think about 10. We opened my first bank account when I was 10. I've never missed a direct debit. So, you know, I'm really proud of that, because like I said, it's very important to keep your credit file clean. And I've been through some very difficult times where money's been tight, but I've always managed and made sure I've not missed any direct debits or payments. And, you know, I've just managed to scrape by and just ensure that's done. And if it means I have to eat tuna for the rest of the week, I've made sure my payments are always due. So whatever I owe, I make sure it's paid. So obviously I was extremely disappointed. I forget, this is not just a case of a payment miss, this is a CCJ, which basically means a county court judgment stating that you have defaulted on a payment which you were supposed to pay, and essentially it's gone on my record now, and it stays on I think for 6 years, so it's a long period of time, and that loan got refused on that basis. Now I was devastated because the business needed money, and because of me, and I've got partners and business associates obviously relying on that as well, and here I am, it's my responsibility through no fault of my own at this point, at least, because I wasn't aware of this. So it was really disheartening. I got onto it immediately. I remember I was literally that same, because once I find out I need to do something, I have to do it. I was literally, I think, up for like 6, 7, you've got to appreciate I'm running business at the same time. And then I'm having to deal with extra headache now of having to find out what the CCJ is, because I didn't even know who the CCJ was from. It was just a case of you got CCJ. I had no clue, so I had to find out the CCJ, I had to contact the court, found out who the CCJ was put on, and then what they had, I believe, was a solicitor's address, who obviously would put it on. They had to contact solicitor, then they informed me it's Mercedes Benz who's put it on. Right, everything started to come back then. Then I was fairly sure I'd notify them, because obviously there's been about, I think, 3-year gap now since the incident. So I've then had to contact Mercedes and find out, you know, basically what the hell's gone on. Why has this CCJ happened? You've not contacted me. I had to retrace the steps. I had to go on my old emails. Luckily, I found emails. Now, this is the number one most important lesson I'm going to tell you guys. A lot of people have a tendency to be quick and ring and speak to people and get the problem solved with. I am the biggest fan of emails, and that's probably because I have a bit of a legal background, so I understand the importance of having things documented and the fact that you can always revert back to it should you need to. It's very important in today's society. Wherever you go, they're going to ask you, have you got it in writing? Have you got it? And corporations, they won't encourage you to have things in writing. They will prefer you just to talk face to face or just over the phone, a casual chat, and gone. And don't get me wrong, yes, their phone calls are recorded, but you got to remember they're in control of that recording. They've got the recording, and believe you me, they probably can manipulate them. But anyway, that's a separate. We can't say that for sure, but they possibly can do, because they've got the material, and I'm not too sure how it works on the back end there. So they ultimately, you're putting there your reliance upon their data, and to get it from them, and so they won't give it you as well all the time, so it's difficult. So you should always have your own writing and emails. You should always have them. Thankfully I did, and the reason I asked them to give me send me by email correspondence was simply because I'd moved premises, I moved home, so I didn't want to give my new address because I wasn't too sure where I was going. I was in between 2-3 places at the time, setting up businesses as well, so I said to them, send by email, I'll definitely get the emails. Of course, they didn't send me emails, and they kept sending correspondence to my old address, hence why I didn't respond, hence why they went to court and got a CCJ on my name. Anyhow, I then got onto Mercedes, obviously sent emails to Mercedes, explained the situation, and they, after doing their investigations, which took 5-6 weeks, I think, probably even longer, they said, sorry, we believe the CCJ was correct, you're getting nothing back, you're not getting no money back. Oh, I forgot to mention, of course, when I got the CCJ, I had to pay the money straight away. Because as I mentioned, I wasn't afraid to pay any money. It was just a case of I disagreed with the amount they said I owed. So I paid that. So now I'm out of pocket as well. But come on, fast forward again now to where we were. They denied it, they rejected it, said, sorry, we've got the money, we're happy, the CCJ was correct, you didn't pay, we did the proper procedure, blah, blah, blah. Right, so they disregarded the fact where I said, send me an email for any correspondence. That was disregarded. I then went to the Financial Ombudsman and I had to apply to the court to get the CCJ set aside. Well, hoping it gets set aside. Now, there's a high possibility the judge, you just don't know, it's pot luck. He may have said, no, you know what, they'd followed the right procedure, ultimately it was on the postal record, that's your postal address, and that's the end of story. You know, you can't fight with the judge. Whatever they decide, you've just got to accept. So, of course, I was wounded at this point. I thought, don't know what's going to happen. Could lose the loan as well. We have lost the loan. We have to reapply if obviously the CCJ gets off me. If it doesn't, we could be in serious trouble. Nonetheless, did what I had to do. Go down every avenue because do not get deterred. A lot of people get deterred at this point and no, carry on going. So then I went to the Financial Ombudsman, explained the whole situation to them, what I felt they defaulted on. They didn't correspond with me, and hence why I didn't get no correspondence. The Financial Ombudsman, he was phenomenal. I thank him so much. He was brilliant. He really literally just took my side and he accepted, yes, they were in the wrong, and Mercedes' final response was in the wrong. And he actually said they owed me some money back, which was great to hear. And in the same week when he did that, went to court, took on Mercedes, and they also lost. The judge also agreed that they should have corresponded via email address, and he accepted my claim, and he said, right, I'm going to set the CCJ aside, and I'm telling you, I was over the moon. Mercedes had to eat a bit of humble pie. They had to give me some money back as well. I think it was about 300 quid. The whole bill was about £800, so they gives me 300 quid back. So yeah, that's an experience I went through. Of course, very traumatic at the time. Could affect me, especially when you're in business. You know, you're applying for things all the time, so something like a CCJ can't remain on. But it's, you know, I went to Mercedes and like I said, they said no. So don't be afraid to take corporations on. There's avenues. Always go to the Financial Ombudsman. You're going to hope they're going to take your side. If, of course, you've got a genuine case and you've got some grounds, they will hopefully, you know, they will support you, hopefully. But they can go the other way as well. And I took them to court, and thankfully, ultimately, the Financial Ombudsman also stated that it should be set aside, but that is just a recommendation sometimes. It's not something they have to do, although they tend to agree with them. So, of course, I went to court, and that was a major one. They agreed, and they set it aside. So I'm so thankful for that process. And again, guys, the moral of the story here is take on big corporations if you're in the right. Simple as that. Don't be afraid. Don't get dejected if they reject you. You know, don't pull yourself down. Give it time and go down each avenue and just be persistent, and hopefully things will fall into place and you'll get the outcome you wanted. So yeah, I thought I'd share that with people because there could be a lot of people out there that have got a CCJ and they just assume there's no different avenue we can go down or fight this, you know, because big corporations have bully tactics where they send you forceful emails, you must pay now, do this. And also, from what I understand, I need to get this verified, but I'm pretty certain, even if they take you to court, a company takes you to court, you don't get a CCJ immediately. They give you a month to pay. So even if the judge was to go against you for any reason, you know, it gives you a month to pay, and if you settle in that month, then there's no CCJ applied. So that's very important because a lot of people may believe. So I do need to get this verified, but I'm fairly certain. If you're judged against, you have a month to pay, and if you do pay, it's disregarded. But if you don't pay, of course, you get the CCJ. So if you feel like you've got a case, then don't be afraid, and you can represent yourself. You don't need lawyers, you don't need all this, and the judges are fairly lenient in that sense. They appreciate people can't afford lawyers, a normal person, and they will support, or at least they'll hear you out. And as long as you've got an opportunity, you've got a chance to win. So yeah, I've rambled on a bit too long because it's 14 minutes. Thank you. So please do subscribe. Please do share, like, comment. If you've suffered anything, please let me know in the comments. If you've had any issues of a similar nature and you've won, please. Great stories. If you've actually won against God, tell me against who, and you know that'll just get me excited because I like to see when the small person takes on the beast. And if you win, exceptional. So that's a fantastic, and it's all down to you at the end of the day. It's people power, and we've got to keep it going. We've got to hammer down these corporations. So please do like and subscribe. Please do comment. Head over to my TikTok as well, where I'm always putting shorts on of little clips of instances. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Thank you so much. Have a good one.